Welcome back to Hudsonville here, where we've had plenty of internet problems today, but we are glad to be back on the MWPA Network stream. And if you go to MichiganWaterPolo.com and you go to the MWPA Network release that we put out earlier this week, the links have been updated for the streaming for these games, so you'll be able to get on that way. Took a good 30 minutes to send a tweet just now, Matt, so we're having lots of fun here, but now we got another quarterfinal and one more team trying to punch their ticket to the semifinals.
Kind of sounds like a first world problem there with the tweet. Yes, so now we have Hudsonville and Saline ready to square off. Saline is another team. I'd have to go back and look to see the last time that they were here. It seems like it's been a couple of years since Saline's been here. They've been a team that I've actually seen on the east side as an official that's improved a great deal, kind of like Skyline. They do have a tough test here with the defending champs in Hudsonville at their home pool. So it's going to take a smart game, but if they play smart, play kind of within their system, control the ball, limit turnovers, and they should be able to give Hudsonville a pretty good shot. And I know Hudsonville's got a lot of depth and a lot of good stars here that are looking to show that they're still the best team in the state.
Yep, and the Eagles are, again, three-time defending state champions. The Saline Hornets, one of the big things that's going to be a challenge here is the depth. That roster, I'm looking, I think I see 8 girls or maybe 7 out there outside of the goalie. So really, though, they're going to have to score early, they're going to have to score often, and they're going to have to defend well. There's a Hudsonville team that can do a lot of different things. They've got a lot of strengths, a lot of kids that can take over games. They are going to be short one of their star players here, unfortunately, for the rest of the season, it sounds like. But other than that, the Eagles are in good position here. You know, they had a good, very competitive regional final game against the East Grand Rapids Pioneers, who remained undefeated. So you know this is one of the better teams in the state.
Yep, and you know, right now there's no shame to losing the EGR and how talented that team is. And the good thing about the state tournament here is that regionals doesn't matter anymore. It's a new start, so you can write a new finish if you want to.
One of the players to watch here is the center for Saline, Audrey Cook. Cook nearing the 100-goal mark this season already. She's been excellent offensively for them. Hasn't played a ton of games either for Nathan Barnett and Jacob Elysia, rather a co-head coach situation for the Saline Hornets. Eagles under the direction of former coach of the year, Ian Hewitt. Down to our left in the dark caps, Hornets in the whites. Opening sprint about to get underway here. It'll be Taylor Wilson taking this one against Elizabeth Burchard. A couple of all-region performers. This one is won by Saline. Joanne Oyemba with it. Here's Cook.
And again, I mentioned in the last game, possessions are important, so winning the sprint, it might seem like a minor detail, but if you win all 4, that gives you 4 more possessions than the other team right off the bat.
Good way of looking at it. Players to watch for the Eagles. Well, who isn't to watch? Marley Persh out here up top, creating havoc on defense already. Excellent defender, long and rangy. Taylor Wilson, who just picked off that pass. Taylor Wilson was excellent in the district tournament. Lit up Grandville in the championship game for 4 goals. Here come the Eagles on offense. First time, here's Bariuk inside position. Had it, lost it, gets the ball back, skips it off the post and in. Sophia Bariuk makes it 1-0 Eagles.
Great patient there, out of the center position, took her time, found her legs, and put a good shot on cage.
So Hudsonville takes an early 1-0 lead, 6:11 to go here in the first quarter. And she had inside position, then she kind of played herself out of it, but the power that she has, and we can talk to Grace Boovy at halftime. Grace played with her. She knows how physically capable Sophia is at center. Strong players on this Hudsonville team. Wilson, Persh, we talked about.
It's another good move and turn there.
That was an excellent turn that time. Inside position, long chance from the outside. They swing it in deep instead to Wilson. It's off her fingertips. And out of play. Back up the pool. Here come the Eagles. Swinging it out to the outside. Here's Sydney Anderson. Cross pool pass. Here's Burchart. Burchart way out right now. Cook is at the point. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Going to launch a long shot off the crossbar on Macy DeYoung. Picked up by the Eagles as they will work this one back up the pool.
Good Hudsonville defense there. Again, force that long-range shot. Tends to be lower percentage.
If you're forcing shots from that spot, you're living well. Eagles have been good defensively over the last several years. Hard foul on the outside. Here's Wilson with the ball. She doesn't need any space to operate. Inside water, Biryuk has it, thinking about it. Now she shoots and scores, and it's a 2-0 Eagle lead as Sophia Biryuk just powers her way in behind the defense and makes it 2-0.
Again, another good, strong move. Saline might need to think about trying to provide some help defense here.
That was Dory Cook, the freshman on her. That's a tough assignment for anybody. Nonetheless, a freshman, but valuable experience here at the state tournament for a couple of young players on this Saline squad.
We always had this saying that the second you see the center get position, the defender needs to call for help, and the perimeter players need to look to help back on that.
Here's Cook in center, crashed on, somehow was able to draw the ordinary and keep possession with 3 Eagles swarming. Cook with it in deep, swings it out high to Burchart. Really only got one option. Instead, she's going to dump it into the corner as the shot clock was just about out. The Eagles pick up possession again. Here's Persh. Down the right side. Jenna Kuiper with it. Centers it, was looking for Wilson. Stolen away by the Eagles. Here's Oyemba. And an ordinary foul drawn that time. So the Hornets pick up possession again. Here's Holloway. Good help defense at center that time. Biryuk not in center. It was Wilson. Taylor Wilson, I believe, a sophomore. Man, Matt, when you have a player like her at sophomore, that's not a bad position to be in as a coach.
Not at all. Certainly have a couple more years to work with an athlete like that is a wonderful thing as a coach.
Audrey Cook, meanwhile, got the ball in center, but swarming from either side. Ellie Tuttle and Marley Persh with the steal. Here's Persh down the right side, unabated. She's got weak side open, gives it there. Here's Wilson, a rip, and she scores. 3-0 Hudsonville.
Hudsonville getting it done again on the defensive end, forcing that good transition possession and counterattack led to an easy goal.
As we talked about, Dave McWaters, longtime Rockford head coach, is the public address announcer for this game. He is a Hudsonville assistant now. Interesting is Hudsonville turned it over and asked for a Diet Coke up here and didn't get one. McWaters must be hiding the cooler somewhere.
Got to make sure you have those on hand.
Here's Wilson in the middle into a swarm, able to swing it back out to Tuttle. Believe that's number Claire wore, right, Matt? 3?
Yep. And
it's a big cap to fill.
Yep, and that was actually pretty good perimeter defense there by Saline, almost forcing the turnover.
Here's Wilson, skips a winding shot, almost a slider off the top of the crossbar. Outside, ball 1. Here come the Hornets back up the other end of the pool. Burchart swims to the middle. Eagles have really not allowed much inside 8 meters offensively to be done here by Saline as they lead at 3-0. Into center, here's Cook with room. Cook kicks it out to Burchart. Burchart, one more pass. Here's Anderson. Anderson with room, the lefty. Long shot saved by DeYoung. Diving across to her left, swallows it up.
Nice stop there. I believe her first really good look of the game.
Up the pool, here's Wilson with room. Winner of this game gets Grandville. Here's Biryuk. Biryuk, all kinds of room. Look out to the hat trick. 4-0 Hudsonville. 3 of them by Biryuk early in the first. We're down to 1:59 now to go in the first quarter as it's 4-0 Hudsonville.
And again, another good one-on-one look and a good strong move out of the center position. You have a player that can dominate like that, it really forces the defense to get on edge and try to adjust and do some different things.
And deep. Here's Anderson, who had the last chance here for Saline from the outside. Good passing out of center to create a little bit of space offensively. Seemed to be the best offensive so far. Oyemba turns it over on the outside. Oyemba trying to ball under Kuiper. Kuiper, second try, third try. She's up the pool with it.
Thought that was good patience by the official there not to blow the ball under. It was kind of a 50-50 ball, waiting to see who would come out with it.
Tuttle into the middle, turned over to Cook with a dangerous passing on goal, but knocked aside that time. Holloway and someone up the pool. Gonna be Burchard. Burchard in, one on nobody. She's got Persh in behind. Ball in hand. A good defensive play from behind. And the Eagles pick the ball back up. It was close. Not sure if there was contact there.
It was close, but I know sometimes as an official, if they get a good strong shot off, you'll tend to let some minimal contact go, and it looks like that's exactly what the official did there.
Here's Persh down Broadway. Got Biriuk. Biriuk inside. The shot scores. Make it 5-0 Hudsonville, or fourth of the quarter.
And there, unfortunately for Saline, that's a 2-goal swing. You know, looking at a game 4-1 feels a lot different than 5-0.
Reminder for those watching for the rest of the night on our streams, the clock that you see in the stream is not official. It is being run manually, separate of the system. So don't put a lot of credence, although it's been pretty darn accurate for the most part tonight.
I wouldn't put any credence on it.
Trying to center it. They had Burchard driving to the goal here. Anderson, the lefty on the outside, pops it into play. Far side pass. They're trying to open up the center here for Burchard. Burchard hand on top of the ball, and that's an easy ball under with 24 seconds to go in the first.
And Hudsonville's one-on-one defense continues to be dominant this quarter. Certainly one of the better press one-on-one defenses in the state.
Quick swing pass into the middle by Biriuk, and a good one to Persh. Persh winds up and scores. Marley Persh under the arm of Holloway, and it is 6-0 Hudsonville here in the first with 9 seconds to go in the quarter. Good play there by Persh, who's been unselfish here in this first and lights it up for her first goal of the day. Cook, long shot, gonna fall way short. 5 seconds to go on the game clock. That'll wrap it up. First quarter in the books. Hudsonville 6, Saline 0. Matt, I don't think we saw a single exclusion in that first quarter or a 5-meter.
We did not, and I'm sure now that you just jinxed it like a no-hitter in baseball, we're about to see plenty in the second quarter. But really good defense. At least good positional defense by Hudsonville. Forced a lot of outside long-distance shots by Saline, and then they just got their transition game going. And it's hard if you're not getting back for those exclusions to come, but those opportunities come, and Hudsonville did a good job finishing them.
Considering the game we just watched, this one not physical almost at all, really. I didn't think that was physical at all.
Yeah, not too much physicality. But again, like a no-hitter in baseball, I'm wondering if we just jinxed it.
I'm trying to pull out all the broadcaster jinx here at the end of the first quarterfinal.
All the announcer jinx. Just wait till that first 5-meter when we say that this person hasn't missed all season.
That's a good point. That is a really good point. Really players of impact in that period. Thought Sophia Biriuk played a nice quarter. Positionally, she was just in a good spot almost every time down the pool offensively.
Yeah, but I really, really liked her patience, because oftentimes young athletes in that position, try to rush it, and as a result, they don't have their legs quite underneath them, or they don't quite follow through on their shot. But I thought she did a terrific job making sure that she was set, look at the cage, find the spot, and put it away. For Saline here, right now you just can't look at the scoreboard. It's 0-0. You treat every possession like it's a new possession. You try to win that. And then no matter what happens to the scoreboard, if you chip away at the lead and get back into it, great. If not, you're at least battling for 4 quarters.
So the winner of this game to the 7 o'clock semifinal will take on the Grandville Bulldogs, who just made their first ever trip to the semis. The loser of this game draws Ann Arbor Skyline. Neither enviable positions to be in, really. Either way, you're playing against two good teams, good coaches. It just kind of reminds you of the state tournament, just an absolute dogfight every year.
Yeah, and there's never any easy competition. The teams work hard to get here. I know a lot of people felt the west side might have had a little more strength this year with teams. But, those East Side teams have improved all season long and certainly fought their way to be here. So it'll be fun watching the whole thing develop as the weekend progresses.
Other quarterfinal in the books, EGR, Birmingham Seaholm, wrapped up with a pretty bow. It's 12-1 East Grand Rapids. Jump ball. I think Nathan Barnett wanted the ball under that time. They were on the wrong side of the jump ball. Outstanding. And this was won by Burchard. Good leap there.
I'm sure nothing but nerves happened there. You don't see those plays too often.
Now, the jump ball is one of my favorite plays in water polo, mostly because you never see it. My win percentage in jump balls, 1 for 2. My one loss was to former MWPA behemoth Alexander Petrovich. If you remember him.
No shame there.
I think he kicked me in the stomach when he went up for it, and I never really went up. Former Ann Arbor Huron standout monster. The one I won might have been in a JV game, so I don't know that I can brag about that win. Here's Wilson in deep. Ball swung at a couple of times by Burchard. She takes it away. Oh, and a soft timeout horn there for Nathan Barnett. Early here in the second quarter, 6:22 to go in the second, 6-0. Hudsonville in the lead.
It's always interesting to see those early timeouts in a quarter in case it's something the coaches see something, or whether it's a strategy, or if they see something happen to one of their players, they just need to give them a quick break, especially with a short bench. Those timeouts can be very useful for rest and to regroup, even early on in the quarter.
Looking around at the stands here, and some of the athletes from the other game already preparing for action. Scored a report from the other quarterfinal. End of the first quarter, Rockford 1, Ann Arbor Huron 0. So another low-scoring quarterfinal.
I would expect that would be a pretty solid quarterfinal game to watch. Not that I want our viewers to switch over and lower our ratings, but that certainly would be a good one to keep an eye on. The other interesting thing that I think is going to happen, normally in a non-COVID year, the quarterfinal round is done Friday, and then the other two rounds are done Saturday. This year it's flip-flopped because of the COVID restrictions, so the MWPA had to get both games in, both the opening round and the semifinal round in on Friday, with the placement games tomorrow. So to see how coaches, right now between games adjust to have to immediately turn around and play, quite frankly, another big game later tonight will be interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how teams are able to handle that. It's not an easy situation really to be in when you look at one semifinal was lopsided on that side of the bracket, and the other one is probably going to be a close game, and there's less rest for that second one.
Yeah, and especially for the team that loses, having to turn around pretty much in about an hour and a half to play that second game. But it's also something that hopefully they're used to all year with all the COVID protocols that have happened throughout the season.
Here's Perch, powers it in off the right goal post, 7-0 Hudsonville. Minute 9 into the second quarter here. Perch picks up her second of the game.
She's, I feel, one of the more underrated players. I'm sure she got some postseason awards, but she definitely is kind of an unsung hero of this team and a catalyst, making plays like that and playing pretty strong defense at the other end of the pool.
She's an outstanding player, a good kid as well. Coached her in club polo in the past. Long, good defensively, has improved every year of her career. Was a regular the last time the Eagles won a state championship a couple of years ago.
I believe she's going to play in college too next year.
You know what? Didn't catch the commitment on that, but that's good to hear.
I thought I saw Penn State Barron.
Oh, there you go. That's excellent. We always want our athletes to play at the next level. That's excellent. Here's Burchard, inside position, gets the 5-meter, and will have an opportunity to break the shutout here in the second. Great play there on a turnover by the Eagles. Burchard takes advantage, and Audrey Cook's going to make her way all the way up the pool to take this, and so we'll see the power right arm of Audrey Cook.
Excellent hustle there to draw that, get that rebound and draw that 5-meter.
Cook looking to get on the board for the first time here for the Hornets at the state tournament. Skip shot right in a bomb. One goal on the board here for Saline as Cook puts it in and cuts the lead down to 6.
Sometimes all it takes is one to get that spark going, especially on a hustle play like that.
Can't start a fire without a spark, Matt.
That is true.
Spontaneous combustion. I don't know. I don't know if that's actually a thing. I think it's something I don't know the science to that. Between that and my math skills, I don't think anybody on the broadcast wants to know.
What's a shame there is the camera just didn't get the look that I just gave you for that comment.
Here comes Persh. Persh, offensive.
So I got called for a clear out or a push off. 16, it looks like, is what the official just signaled there for that offensive.
Oh, sorry. Missed that. In deep. Burchart draws the ordinary. To the outside, here's Anderson. Left arm, long shot, and it was blocked. And getting an arm on the arm that time was Taylor Wilson. Legal play there on the outside and kills the shot.
Yep, good shot block there. What's interesting to see is if Saline is trying to get a one-on-one isolation down the pool right now, because it's now created a couple opportunities potentially for him.
Cook playing good defense, gets the hands off. Really a push off that time by Perch, saw a hand in the chest that time. Down low on the right side, Hudsonville into center. Here's Biryuk, make it 6 on the day for her as it's 8-1 Eagles.
And again, she, that was a little quicker, but she still took her time. Got a good shot off.
I think Dave McWaters caught the wrong numbers there. Get that man a Diet Coke. I lied, I see one on the score table for him. Old running joke in the MWPA. One of the great coaches. I can't remember how many state championships it is for Dave McWaters.
It's got to be north of 10. I'm sure if there's somebody from Rockford listening in, they can let us know.
Well, they won 13 all from 2000 on. That's all 13 of theirs.
That's got to be, and he was coach, I think, of all but 2 of them, because I believe that John Haga might have taken over the last 2.
So yeah, you're talking 11 state championships in, what is that, 15, 16 years?
Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad for a coaching career.
Now an assistant coach with the Hudsonville boys. Here's Biryuk inside position on Cook. And she draws a 5-meter that time on Audrey Cook. They'll give this one to Marley Perch.
Again, good job getting position. Started to get inside water and drew the 5-meter.
Lining it up, Perch with the shot. Top left corner, hat trick for Marley Perch. 9-1. Favor of the Eagles. I think I made a mistake earlier. Biryuk with 5, 3 for Perch, 1 for Wilson. So kind of the usual suspects here for Hudsonville doing the damage. And Audrey Cook, the lone goal so far for the Saline Hornets. Been an excellent player on the east side all year long.
I'm starting to see at least a couple Saline players moving and getting position.
There's a long shot from the outside. Shot so powerful that when it landed on the other side of the bulkhead, it skipped twice again. From Audrey Cook. Got a big arm out there. Cook, former MWPA Player of the Week. All-region performer. All-region tournament co-MVP as well. With Huron Xana Baker.
Pretty good defense here by Saline.
Long shot from the outside, high over top of the goal by Persh. With 2:52 to go in the second. One timeout off the board overall, and it's Saline's.
One of Saline's better defensive possessions so far this game. Hopefully a building block for them the rest of the way.
Here's Saline's Cook on the top side. Trying to get Burchart in deep, working on Persh. Nearly 2-on-1 defensively, draws the ordinary. Burchart outside Oyemba. Oyemba enters it back in. Good defense in the swim around by Persh, and she'll motor it up the pool. Here's Biryuk in behind the defense. Probably not the person you want on a breakaway if you're Saline. Biryuk in, looking for number 6, and she's got it off the underside of the arm of Adrian Holloway, and it is 10-1 Hudsonville. 6 goals in the game for her. She had a solid and patient game, as you mentioned.
Yeah, those transition plays are hard, especially, again, Hudsonville with good defense, creates a counterattack and an opportunity, and they do not miss those very often.
No, they do not. That's why they are 3-time defending state champions. 18-3 overall. Only losses this season, a 1-goal loss to East Grand Rapids, a 3-goal loss to East Grand Rapids, and a 1-goal loss to Rockford. Not a bad resume if you're Hudsonville.
Not at all.
Long shot from the outside and a save. Sorry about that, Matt.
No problem. Good stop there again by Saline's goaltender. Hasn't necessarily had a lot of shots thrown her way, but she's been sharp when she's had to.
Lacey DeYoung, honorable mention performer at the region level. Foul drawn here by Burchart. Now they got numbers up the pool. Here's Cook. Cook's got some space if they can get the ball up. Good arm on that Saline goalie. Gets it to Dory Cook. Now they got Audrey Cook in deep. Had the far side of Persh there for a moment, but now getting fronted. And it's turned over and picked off. Here come the Eagles the other direction. It's Katie Carroll. Carroll's got somebody coming down the middle. Gonna be Rachel Maki. Here comes the pass in. Maki looking for one more. Put her hand on top of the ball and lost possession.
Good defensive recovery again. Almost a near exclusion there in transition. But the announcer's jinx has not happened yet.
No, it is not. 1 5-meter so far. There's a goal for Marley Persh for the Eagles. Here's Wilson. Wilson with room. Eagles running it now. In transition, Wilson tried to get in deep there for Biriuk. Arm was touched on the pass, lost it, turned over to Biriuk. Biriuk inside water, pump fake once, and she fanned on the shot a second time.
Pretty good defensive recovery again by Saline. Kind of forced a tough shot there.
Back up top, here's Anderson. And you can tell, just with not having a lot of bodies in the water here, Cook had inside position. Cook going after it, swept away by DeYoung. Cook still after it, 15 on the shot clock. And she'll swim off back on defense with 13 to go in the first half.
Good read by DeYoung there to come out and steal the ball, probably prevented another 5-meter.
Here comes Persh. Persh 3 seconds on the game clock. Don't know that she knows it. She takes the shot, partially blocked, and that's the half. Here from Hudsonville, the host Eagles lead at 10-1 on Saline, and we'll take a little break here for halftime. We'll bring it back with the second half coming up next. Second half set to get underway here from Hudsonville. The host Eagles leading this one 10-1 at the half over the Saline Hornets in the state quarterfinals. The 2-3 matchup. Just goes to show some of the depth the West side has. You get the 4 seed out of the West winning their game in the quarterfinals. You get the 2 seed up by 9 at the half. So the West side does have some great depth. Waiting on some updates from that Rockford-Huron game. Expecting that one to be pretty good. Opening sprint underway. Scores 3-0 Rockford Rams at the half. And a foul here. I think a push-off potentially on Saline.
Push-off or a ball under, and then immediately she did not go live with the ball and swam with it.
Aha. That's not a lot of fun.
That's kind of a point of emphasis for officials this year with the new rules.
Point of emphasis for coaches, too, because coaches have had to remind their kids a number of times, especially kids that have played the sport before, that that's a rule, and it has driven some coaches absolutely batty.
It's one of those rules that tends to recycle in the rule book every 5 to 6 years.
You can't bet on things. Obviously, you never want to bet on high school sports, but I wonder what the odds would be on a ball-in-play turnover in the state championship game. Probably pretty good.
Probably at least one.
At least one, you would think. Despite the fact that these are high-level players, it's a different rule.
Yeah, and it's easy to forget sometimes, especially in a high-intensity moment.
Here's a pass across and a beauty there by Persh in deep. Here's Tuttle, skip shot low and puts it home. Lucky that skip shot came right in front of the goal line because the ball kind of died on the water, but the ball was past the goal line before it hit it. So the Eagles take a 10-goal lead. 6:04 to go here in the third. And I believe the Mercy is 8 after 3, Matt, if the lead is 8 after 3?
It's 10. It's 10
after 3?
10 at half or 10 after 3.
10 at half,
we drop 2 minutes off of the remaining quarters.
So we'll see if potentially this is going to be a shortened game, which you would think would favor the Eagles. Two less minutes of wear and tear going into the semifinals probably would be preferable because they had less rest than the team that's already in the semis.
Probably. The other thing, though, sometimes you wonder, depending on how much youth he has on the bench behind him, is you do want to get those kids an opportunity, if you have the chance, to get them in and experience what a state tournament's all about.
Also true. One of the things we were talking about Ian Hewitt about is he's had some players out injured. Here's another shot in deep. Whoa, top right corner by Marley Persh and a beauty in tight. Top right over Adrian Holloway, make it 12-1.
Great catch and shoot there by Marley.
And yeah, Ian Hewitt's starting to put the subs in. He's got the backup netminder, Jackie Marshall, in the water as well. A couple more subs coming in. Avery Morin, as well as Michaelan Van Eerden. So again, you're talking about a little youth getting in the water here. You do want to get those kids in. And for Saline, one thing they will not be short on this weekend is minutes. And it will be a quick exclusion on Avery Morin. Burchart in tight. And it's going to be a 5-meter here on Marley Persh. Ian Hewitt's expression just said it all down there on the bench.
That was a pretty good call, though, by the official. It really doesn't matter that the shooter gets the shot off. There was a lot of contact from behind there. And it was kind of a weak shot, which is going to definitely lead to the 5-meter being called.
I think the frustration was more in his own player than it was in anything. Here's skip shot. Big stop, Jackie Marshall, the backup goaltender. Cook gets the rebound. Knocked aside by the Eagles. How about that? Big stop for the backup netminder coming in on one of the state's best shooters.
Great moment for her. I'm sure it's something she'll remember for quite a long time.
Back up the pool, out of the corner, here's Morin. Into the middle here, Tuttle swings it around for Persh, who just took that penalty. Trying to find some space into the middle, and a shot clock violation. Beery looking near side, giving a little bit of a facial expression to Austin Myers.
It was a quick 30, right? That's what most shooters think.
Quick 30, yeah, absolutely. Offensive taken here by Burchart, believe, or maybe that was in center on Cook. Eagles working it methodically back up the pool. 12-1 they lead, 4:15 to go in the third. Down deep, here's Morin. Morin lobs it into the middle. I think she was trying to take a shot, but it was partially blocked. Swept away by the goalkeeper that time, and the Eagles right back on it. Hard foul by Cook there.
That's where I would just tell the coach I meant that to be a pass.
Long shot from the outside, slapped aside that time by Holloway with the save. Shot was headed for the left side by Ellie Tuttle, but a stop that time by Holloway.
You do kind of see that Saline's energy does seem to be dropping here a little bit, but they are still playing hard, getting down the pool.
Holloway, the junior goalkeeper. Good communicator up the pool. Here's Cook in center. Back over the top and a big stop that time. Hey, you got to get creative in those situations, and I love that shot, actually.
Yeah, and that was, especially with the defender crashing right in, she didn't have many options there, so definitely an A+ there for creativity.
I've tried that more than once in my polo career. The number of times it's worked, not a lot. Top corner and off the bar and in. A big goal here for Hudsonville. It was a beauty for Allie Widner off the underside of the bar to make it 13-1 Eagles. It was a beauty of a shot there in tight.
Yeah, going back to that last shot by Saline, though, sometimes you never know. You'll catch that goalie off guard and it will go in.
Yeah, the over-the-top shot?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I've seen goalies get donut holed by it plenty of times. And nearly did. Her hands were kind of on the outside of the ball when she made that stop, but Cook just getting creative. Gotta love it.
Kind of the water polo version of the 5-hole.
Ah, yes. That's not a fun place to get scored on. I can attest. Back up top. Burchart has it. Battle in center with Cook. Long shot from the outside. Skipped off the bar this time by Marshall. And Ian Hewitt smartly going to call a timeout as he saw a little bit of trouble brewing there. I think potentially going to get some players into the water here with 2:51 to go in the third.
It's also always a good time to remind your kids you got to stay focused, especially if these are players that maybe don't play as much. This is their opportunity to shine and show that they, can get more play time down the road. So it's always good to keep your kids focused for all 4 quarters.
And one of the great things about the state tournament is the number of people that do step up in that state tournament. Sometimes you'll find a kid that comes off your bench at the beginning of the state tournament in a game like this, and you'll think, this might extend my bench a little bit in the semifinals.
Yep, and certainly even in the finals, if they get that far, that they want to be able to count on kids in high-pressure situations, and this is certainly a good opportunity to show your coach that you belong in the water and you deserve those minutes later on. I've had many kids during the state tournament step up that maybe you weren't necessarily expecting, or you thought maybe could do it but weren't quite sure, and they took the opportunity to show in this situation they can do it so that you can trust them later on.
Saline, you got to give them a lot of credit, too, for battling it out here against the Hudsonville team with one reserve on the bench. And, Matt, I know you've probably either coached in those situations, maybe potentially played in those situations. That is a hard spot to be in, and they have, they're battling hard here.
I've actually had a team one time end up down a player because of foul trouble because we had a short bench, and it's not easy, so it's good to see the kids just battling as hard as they possibly can. Seeing a lot of improvement from Saline throughout this game, too. So certainly some stuff they can build on for the rest of the weekend.
Yep, and it looks like at this point with 2:51 to go in the third, looks like they've earned themselves a date with the Ann Arbor Skyline Eagles. They've seen each other plenty this year. Last time was at districts, or rather regionals, and Ann Arbor Skyline had their way with Saline.
But that was then. This is now. It's a new day. So
new day, new team. Earlier in the year, Saline beat Skyline in an overtime game in which they were down 2 goals in the final minute of regulation.
Yes, I believe that actually was the official on that game and watched that happen.
Was it 2 or 1 goals in the last minute? Sorry.
It was 2 goals with inside a minute to go, and at one point Skyline actually had the ball, if I remember correctly, to simply kill the clock, and Saline got it back and put it in and then won in overtime. So
we've seen both sides of the coin is what you're saying. We could see another really good game coming up here soon.
Yep. And it's kind of like the last game when Grandville had beaten Skyline a couple of times by a solid margin, maybe not blowouts, but a solid margin, and then they just played to a 1-goal game. So that's why you play.
And I think the one thing about that is I think everybody everybody that knows water polo knew what kind of game that was going to be going in just because of the way Rebecca Godek coaches her teams.
Yep.
Short side shot. Eagles make it 14-1. Down in deep, that's Jenna Kuiper into the top right corner on the short side on Holloway to make this a 13-goal lead, and Ian Hewitt will go back to the bullpen for a couple new arms.
Hudsonville continues to get good looks deep. I could tell the Saline coaches were reminding their kids to make sure that they were getting all the way back to make sure they had people covered in front of the goal.
Katie Carroll and Rachel Maki check back in. Ellie Tuttle as well as Allie Widner checking out here for Hudsonville. Still a couple of the important pieces in the water here for the Eagles. Long shot from the outside, and Jackie Marshall, who has been much busier than Macy DeYoung was in the first half, has made a couple of nice stops here. Nearly turned over coming up the pool by Carroll.
Another good outside look, though, by Saline after the foul outside 6, and sometimes those shots are hard because the defense and goalie knows it's coming.
Oh, Burchard takes the ball away, and that was an opportunity for Brooke Alexander, the freshman, to go towards the goal that time, but sat and watched it for a moment. You can catch someone sleeping, you can get on the board there. She's a freshman. I'm sure that's when she sees the film of that, she'll know in the future, and she'll make that move 100 times out of 100.
And just think, of as a freshman playing in this game right now.
A couple of them for Saline.
So it's certainly bright. Gives a lot of good news and a bright future for Saline to have these young kids playing.
Shot off the goalpost that time by Sydney Anderson. Thrown in deep, here's Wilson. Wilson, shot partially blocked and knocked aside here by Holloway with a good stop. Inside a minute to go here in the third corner. 14-1 Hudsonville over Saline. As the matchup's beginning to get a little bit more clear here. Pass into the middle. Here's Cook. Cook. Have to imagine she has seen nothing but heavy minutes this season with that short bench and how talented she is. Dumped into the right corner and turned over with 23 seconds on the clock. Here in the third, and the Eagles will roll this one back up the pool as the clock starts again.
Kind of looks like Hudsonville might be just trying to kill the clock here for the remainder of the quarter. Oh, maybe not.
Biriuk plays it in down to the right corner for Persh. Persh, a little delayed reaction. Into the right corner here. Katie Carroll is driving towards the goal. They don't pass it in, and that'll do it. 3 quarters in the books. Hudsonville 14, Saline 1. Hudsonville 1 quarter away, 1 5-minute quarter away, that is, from an opportunity to move on to the state semifinals. Yet again, 3-time defending champions, and it looks like if this wraps up, unless there is a big scoring outburst very quickly, it looks like they'll have an opportunity to go back to the state finals playing Grandville.
Yeah, and that should be a very, very good game. Those two teams have had some recent battles. If I remember correctly, they played both in the regional tournament and in the district tournament and had some close games. So it'll be 2 games between 2 teams this evening that know each other quite well.
Third quarter from East Kentwood. Rockford leading 4-2 on Ann Arbor Huron as the Rams fire a shot just wide of the goal. We're watching this right now as Joey Sutherland is on the play-by-play. See if the River Rats can get back in this one. And very similar to the other quarterfinal we saw earlier here today.
Is that like play-by-play inception?
Yeah.
Doing play-by-play of a game while you're doing play-by-play?
Yeah, exactly. That was
just trying to show off now?
Yeah, well, long career in this. Not as long as Joey Sutherland, who's on the call there at East Kentwood. Got some good catchphrases if you get an opportunity to tune into him. When this game wraps up, do that. Plenty entertaining. Happy to be bringing you everything on the MWPA network today. From Hudsonville, myself, Matt Latham. Again, it'll be a 5:30 start for the second round game between the teams that lost in games 1 and 2. And the semifinals tonight at 7. And then after that, the All-State announcement will be live streamed. Sorry, I'll be looking directly at my face. But we'll live stream that and hand out the awards online. I'll put some graphics in there, Matt. Don't worry. They don't have to just look at me. It's weird because I was trying to figure out how to do the announcement without looking into the camera and looking like I'm the president giving an address to the nation.
Oh, we could get a desk and an emblem, a couple flags.
My fellow water polo players.
5-minute quarter here because the mercy rule is in effect with Hudsonville up 13.
Clock operator on the broadcast doing an excellent job today. In deep, here's Marley Persh. Persh all alone, make it 15-1. She picks up her 5th of the game. So one of the things, and I was about to hit on this earlier when a goal was scored, but Hudsonville has been missing a number of players for a few weeks here. They were at districts and at regionals, and they're getting them back in. So part of the thinking I would imagine for Ian Hewitt of keeping some of his regulars in the pool is getting everybody used to playing with each other again, because some of these kids haven't played with each other in over a month, and you're about to go play a semifinal tonight. Yep,
and he knows he's got a longer break. He doesn't have that quick hour-and-a-half turnaround, so a couple of minutes shouldn't hurt him too badly here.
No, and it's only a 5-minute fourth quarter, so we'll see how long he keeps the horses in. Already got the backup netminder in. Here's Kuiper using that long arm, sweeps it back to the middle. Now she cuts in towards the goal. On the outside, swimming into some defense, gives it right side. Sharp angle shot, skips up on the arm and into the head of Holloway. Apologies here if you're tuned in on our live stream having a battery issue. Looks like just one moment here and we should be back up and running. Apologies for that. Get the battery charger in here in between games.
Don't worry, there was a state championship game between Rockford and Okemos that I was using my phone, and my phone battery died right before overtime. So we had to swap in phones for the live stream.
Classic. Would have had the power cord to this camera had I been able to find it. Wouldn't have been an issue with the battery. On the outside, here's Wilson. Wilson into the middle here on Persh. Ball turned over, and she kind of gets caught talking there to Josh Arendt, but Arendt going to let it go.
Pretty good job there, an official, especially in a 15-1 game. Nothing there that was too egregious. And I think at worst, you'd probably call a minor act of misconduct.
The ma'am. Good old ma'am.
For people that don't know, that is important. It's worse than a normal exclusion because on your second one, no matter how many fouls you have, you're done for the game.
Going to be a timeout for Hudsonville, and it looks like they're going to go to the bench here, get some new subs in. 2:54 to go here in the fourth. Again, want to thank Grace Boovy, Hudsonville alum, for helping us out on the camera. And some of the humid conditions, I think, playing into the battery life on this camera, so that's why that happened there.
I still feel it's cooler than it was 2 weekends ago at regionals when it was about 150 outside.
Yeah, it is, and feeling the laptop, trying to feel out the gear and see what's hot on fire. Nothing really so far up here in the stands. Had to move. We were on deck earlier, so we've got kind of a better vantage point, but the internet didn't reach too well, and it's because there's a very large amount of concrete directly between where we were seated and the access point for the internet. So had to switch it up, sit in the stands, be amongst the people.
Again, first world water polo problems.
Yeah, I know. That's tough. But happy to be streaming the MWPA tournament again here. 2:54 to go in the final quarterfinal here from Hudsonville. We'll take a quick look at what's going on at East Kentwood between Rockford and Ann Arbor Huron. It is 4-2 at the end of the third as they get set for the fourth quarter. About a minute to go before that on the live stream. So a close game, just kind of like we thought it would be, and winner that game. Going to try and knock off East Grand Rapids, who has not lost yet. They are a perfect 24-0.
And the few times I've seen them play, they're very talented. They press, as well as anybody. They handle the ball well. One thing I was thinking about here, looking at all the banners around the pool, was when the last time Hudsonville wasn't in the top four. And I got to go back to when I know at least I was coaching. I know they made it in 14, and I'm trying to think before that if they when their streak might have started here.
It's been a long time, and they have just about punched their ticket to that here, but not before Saline has something to say about the score at least. Sprinting down the pool, here's Anderson. Anderson still got some legs in her. Anderson, the lefty, on the breakaway in. Pump fake shot, scores, and Saline is back on the board. Their second of the game. 15-2 Hudsonville as Sydney Anderson goes top left corner on the backup netminder. That was Jackie Marshall in there, 1A. So as Ian Hewitt goes to the bench, looks like he's going to put the starter back in here with 2:27 to go in the fourth.
Again, good hustle, good to not see that quit in Saline, still playing hard right to the end. You can tell they're very well coached for doing that.
Yep, and it was a good steal there and sprinting it down the pool. Taylor Wilson will come out and take a break. Kuiper up high. Kuiper thinking about the push-off. Looking into the middle, here's Biriuk. Biriuk trying to get side, kicks it out wide to the right side. Kaylee Mead. Mead back into center. Stepping out to it here was Biriuk. Biriuk has scored 6 times today. Going to be a timeout here for Saline with 1:56 on the clock.
A lot of contact there, but at least from our vantage point, it did not look like that she fully got inside position, so can certainly understand the no call there by the official.
Full shot clock, 15-2 the score. Hudsonville by 13 right now as this one winds down. We will take a nice long, about a 2-hour break in between this and the next live stream. Get a little food, get the website updated and everything. Apologies for some of the issues with the live stream earlier today. Looks like we are back up and running for the most part here, and appreciate your patience. Doing something for the first time, not always easy. We've streamed it before, but it's been streamed on cell phones, which is a lot easier than adding score bugs and score clocks and all the fancy stuff that we ended up adding.
And for those people that don't realize, Harrison here is our MWPA secretary, and a lot of the stuff you see online through social media, through the website, is his doing. Certainly with some help from other people, but so all the great updates you've seen is really his doing, and he's certainly kind of changed the scope of that job in the future.
Yeah, I feel bad for whoever gets nominated for that in the future. I don't think anybody's going to want that.
Don't want to follow the legend, so you might just have to do it forever.
Well, I wouldn't say legend, but that was that's one way to put it.
I'm just raising the bar for you.
Legend makes me feel old, and for anybody tuning in, I'm under 30. I just want everyone to remember that.
For the record, this year I finally had a coach call me old as an official.
I had a player call me sir this year. That's not a fun moment. Or mister. Ugh. Politeness, nice.
It's only going to go downhill from here, Harrison.
Cheery as dust in the wind plays in my head. Foul in center. Here's Cook. Cook trying to kick it out to Burchart. Burchart cutting in. Burchart with room. Long shot off the crossbar. Out to the far side. Opportunity here for Saline to keep the ball alive. They do. Still playing hard. Here's Anderson. Anderson on the outside after the new shot clock. Burchart in the middle trying to kick it down low here to Cook. Ball under it on by Persh. With 1:26 to go, the Eagles swing it back up the pool. Here's Biriuk. Biriuk over the top. One stroke, picks it up out of traffic and scores her 7th of the game, and it's 16-2 Eagles.
Again, on the counterattack, Hudsonville's been effective all day on that so far.
So Saline possession of the ball again with 1:20 to go. Boy, for a 5-minute quarter with all the timeouts, this has felt a lot longer than that. Just think we'd still have 3:09 to go if that wasn't the case. Going to be exclusion here on Hudsonville. Number on that train is 17. Kaylee Mead. So now a 6-on-5. Haven't seen a lot of these today for Saline. Shot stopped by Marshall. Chased by Burchart. Still chased by Burchart. Burchart swiping at the ball, and an ordinary foul called as the ball skipped past the goal line just after the whistle of the great Austin Myers. Look at the kicks on Austin Myers on that far side, Matt. So stylish.
Well, somebody's got to bring it to the pool deck, you know.
Him and his power officiating stance. One of the all-time greats.
Just means he's engaged, and that's exactly what you want out of your official in a tournament like this.
If you're watching from the other pool, these are the two officials who'll get later this evening. 30-second timeout. They're going to go set up with 29 on the clock. So both sides using most of their timeouts. Ball comes out. Officials on the next 2 games here. Raheem Brown, Brent Augustine, the director of officials.
It's good to see that the officials are flip-flopping between sites so that way everybody can kind of see everybody.
Yep, gives the coaches an opportunity to give feedback for who should be on the state championship game. And this is a really good officiating crew overall, from goal judges on up, table workers and everybody at this state tournament. Ball taken out and, smartly thrown out of bounds that time by Marshall.
Very, very smartly. Interesting there that the official let the player grab the ball.
Well, she threw it into the corner. I think there was some sportsmanship involved there, and these are 2 officials that are cool with that usually. But you're right.
And for those that don't know, if a player actually goes out of the pool or reaches the ball, that is a game misconduct. But if the official gives them the go-ahead, then they're perfectly okay.
That'll do it. Hudsonville back to the state semifinals. Final score 16-2 over the Saline Hornets. Congratulations to Ian Hewitt and company. They've earned themselves a date with the Grandville Bulldogs coming up here at 7 o'clock. Saline will take on Ann Arbor Skyline. 5:30 start for that one. Matt, thanks for joining me here for this first session. The quarterfinals in the books. We'll talk here in a few hours.
Yeah, we'll see you this evening, I guess.